No matches, no lighter. As night falls quickly and the temperature drops rapidly, starting a fire becomes crucial for survival. How do you ignite flames when all else fails? It's colder and more dangerous than it seems out here. Knowing how to start a fire without matches is what keeps you alive in an emergency situation. Remember, hypothermia can set in swiftly, and untreated cold exposure is life-threatening. Always prioritize finding dry tinder and kindling, and consider friction methods like the hand drill or bow drill for creating fire when matches are unavailable. However, be cautious. Local laws may restrict open fires in certain areas to prevent wildfires. Always check regulations before starting any flame. Dry tinder is crucial for starting a fire without matches. Look for materials like dead grass, dry leaves, or the inner bark of birch trees, which are light enough to catch even the slightest spark from a flint or other ignition source. Gather as much as you can safely carry, making sure it's free of moisture and debris. Next, find kindling, small twigs and branches no thicker than your thumb that snap easily when bent. You'll need more kindling than tinder to build up the fire gradually. Remember, always ensure you're following local laws and regulations regarding open fires in the area where you plan to camp or hike. Your fire layout should resemble a well-ventilated teepee. Start with a base layer of dry leaves or grass, then add your tinder on top. Next, place kindling in a crisscross pattern to ensure good airflow through the gaps. This arrangement helps the flames spread and grow stronger. Remember, always follow local laws regarding fire building and never start a fire if conditions are too dry or windy, as this can be extremely dangerous. But how do you make that spark? First, find a reliable friction source. A bow drill or hand drill is effective when done correctly. Both methods require practice and patience to master. For a bow drill, gather 4 pieces: a main spindle, the drill, a fireboard, a socket, and a bow. The spindle should be straight and hard, the board soft yet dry. Carve a small hole in the center of your fireboard. Hold it steady with one foot while spinning the spindle using the bow to generate friction. Remember, gathering materials is just part of the process. Always adhere to local laws regarding wilderness use and respect protected species. Apply pressure to spin the spindle fast, generating heat and friction. Keep going until you see a fine dust form at the base. This is your coal. Gently transfer the coal to a prepared nest of dry tinder. Sprinkle it with tiny pieces of tinder, building up slowly. Blow softly to feed oxygen without smothering the flame. Always ensure your fire location is safe and legal according to local regulations. But what if you run out of matches? Think outside the box. Look for rocks or metal scraps that might produce sparks when struck together. Flint and steel are ideal choices but may not always be available. Try striking a hard, sharp rock like flint against another stone. The sparks could ignite your tinder if it's dry enough. Remember to gather plenty of dry tinder before attempting this method, as lighting a fire can take patience and multiple attempts. No knife, no matches, no lights. What now? Friction is still your friend, but approach with care and patience. Use 2 dry sticks, a spindle roughly the diameter of a pencil, and a hearth board, a flat piece of wood. Rotate the spindle rapidly between your hands on top of the hearth board to create friction. This method requires strength, precision, and practice. Find a flat, dry spot on a log or rock for stability. Gather tinder, a fluffier material like dried grass, bark strips, or fungus that will catch a spark easily. Protect yourself from injury. Wear gloves if needed, as this can be hard on your hands. This technique is a last-ditch effort but better than giving up. Just remember to use it safely and responsibly. Every mistake here costs time and warmth. Getting the kindling ratio wrong can cause the fire to extinguish quickly. Using too much heavy wood can block airflow, preventing oxygen from reaching the flames and suffocating them. Dry tinder is crucial. Wet leaves won't work effectively even if they seem dry enough on the surface. Mistakes in building a fire can lead to cold nights or more serious issues, like being unable to signal for help. Always ensure you follow local laws regarding campfires and practice responsible fire-building techniques to avoid wildfires. The stakes grow higher with each moment lost. Night descends rapidly, bringing with it bitter cold that can swiftly lead to hypothermia. Panic clouds judgment and wastes precious energy. Calm is your weapon, knowledge keeps you warm. Stick to the basics. Use dry tinder and small kindling, sheltered from wind, and always ensure you have a reliable method for finding or making fire-starting materials like flint and steel or a magnifying lens. Remember, untreated water can carry pathogens, so purify it before drinking, and be aware of local laws regarding fire building in forested areas to avoid starting wildfires. But wait, there's another way. If you're near a river or stream, consider using materials like dry plant fibers or bark to start a fire. Ice wedges cannot create friction hot enough to ignite a fire. Instead, traditional methods like the hand drill or bow drill with appropriate tinder are more reliable. Remember, gathering and using natural materials for fire making should follow local laws and respect protected species. Always ensure you have the proper knowledge and permissions before proceeding. This technique works, but getting the details wrong can be dangerous. To start a fire without matches, you need dry tinder, small kindling, and proper ventilation. These elements are essential. Fire is crucial for warmth and safety in survival situations, but it must be managed carefully to prevent accidents. Always follow local laws regarding open fires, and ensure you have permission to build one where you are. Night falls hard on the unprepared. The temperature drops sharply, increasing your risk of hypothermia. Starting a fire without matches is crucial for warmth and safety. Every step matters. Use natural tools like flint and steel, or a magnifying glass to focus sunlight. No shortcuts here. Accuracy and care are essential. Listen close, this matters. Always ensure you have the right permits and follow local regulations when starting fires. Chinese letter 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 Chinese letter. Remember, only you can prevent wildfires. So how do you actually start a fire without matches? By being prepared and knowing what to look for. Dry tinder like dry pine needles or cattail fluff, kindling such as small twigs and sticks, and the right tools are all crucial but not always readily available in nature. Your survival depends on having these items with you or finding them reliably. Build your fire structure carefully using a teepee or log cabin method to ensure success. Practice makes perfect here too. Always test different methods in safe environments before relying on them in an emergency. Remember, positively identify any plants for tinder and kindling with an expert guide. Never rely solely on folklore tests like the universal edibility test, as they are unreliable and unsafe. Additionally, check local laws regarding fire starting in natural areas to avoid unintentionally breaking regulations or causing harm to ecosystems. Now it's decision time, move or stay put. If you're lost, don't wander at night. Stay in one place where rescuers can see you easily. Build a fire to signal for help and keep yourself safe from the cold and dehydration. Remember, starting a fire is governed by local laws and regulations, so only do this if it's legal and doesn't harm protected areas or wildlife. The stakes grow with each passing minute. Without matches or a lighter, only your wits and the resources nature provides remain. To build a fire safely in this situation requires knowledge and preparation. Start by finding dry materials like dead leaves, twigs, and small branches. Use friction methods such as the hand drill or bow drill to create an ember. Remember, gathering damp wood can lead to smoke inhalation and frustration. Always ensure you have legal permission to start a fire in any area you are camping or hiking through. The wild isn't forgiving, but neither are you when it comes to survival. And there's a crucial rule for starting a fire safely. Use dry, small kindling and shield it from the wind. This ensures your fire will ignite easily. As night falls, remember that keeping calm and being systematic are key to successfully starting a fire and staying warm. Always follow local laws regarding campfires, and ensure you have permission to build one in the area. This is educational only. Foraging, hunting, and fishing carry real risks and are governed by local laws and seasons. Always verify plant and animal IDs with an expert, follow your local regulations, and never eat anything you can't 100% identify. The first step is finding the right location for your fire. Look for a spot that's sheltered from the wind and away from dry grass or trees that could catch easily. A slight depression in the ground will keep the embers contained, but ensure it's not too wet to prevent water from seeping into your fire. Now gather your materials carefully. Start with kindling small twigs no thicker than a pencil, along with dry leaves, bark shavings, and shredded pine needles. Each piece should be thoroughly dry for optimal ignition. These items serve as the foundation of your fire, providing enough initial fuel to build up to larger sticks. Remember, always ensure you are following local laws and regulations regarding open fires in any given area. But don't just pile it all in one spot. Arrange your kindling like a teepee or pyramid, leaving space for air to flow through. This is where many people falter. They try to burn too much at once, smothering the precious spark. Think small and patient here. Remember, when gathering materials, always respect local laws and regulations regarding the collection of wood in protected areas. Once you've got your base set up, look around for larger sticks and branches that are dry but not too thick. Aim for pieces you can easily snap with your hands. These will help build a lasting fire as the smaller kindling catches and grows stronger. Keep gathering until you have plenty on hand. It's better to overprepare than risk running out when you need it most, but remember to follow local laws and respect protected species while collecting materials. Now comes the tricky part, starting the flame without matches. If you're near water, look for dry moss or dry wood that's partially protected from rain but not damp. Moss can be wrung out and dried thoroughly in sunlight. Even slightly wet pieces can help if they've been drying for a while and are now moderately dry. Rubbing two sticks together is another method, using one stick to spin rapidly against the other with lots of friction to create an ember. Always ensure you have legal permission to gather materials from private or public lands. If all else fails, try focusing sunlight through your glasses onto dry kindling. This method requires extreme patience and careful attention to avoid melting or damaging the material. Angle the light directly on small bundles of fibrous tinder until they begin to smolder. Then blow gently but steadily to fan the flames into a larger fire. Remember, always ensure you have proper permission and are within legal boundaries for starting fires in your area. Once you've got that initial spark, protect it from gusts and rain by shielding it with stones or by digging a shallow trench around your kindling. Gradually add more fuel in stages, ensuring each layer is well lit before adding the next to prevent smothering the flame.